My mother used to play the piano. I have a vague memory of sitting on her lap while she wrote a novel, but I never saw a finished copy. My mother paints. She exhibits in local galleries, abstract art, swishes of red, gold and yellow, layered oil. She made one for me, of lupins through trees. It hangs in my kitchen, blazing limes, apples, mints, artichokes choking my heart, art I can taste. The lavender hues poking their tongues through branches smell like the first perfume she gave me to try. Taste like soap, like home, like trying. Last time I went home, I asked my mum, "What art does Dad make?" He spent many years laying bricks, and later telling subcontractors he's not going to pay them until they finish the job to his satisfaction. When I was younger, he was a professor of computing, back when this meant wrestling giant skyscraper buildings, before the internet. Yes, in the before times, when computers were used for processing information instead of processing filth and nothing. I asked my mother, "What art does Dad make?" She looked at me funny, said, "He designs houses, Joe. What more do you want?" I forgot he was an architect as well as a project manager. How could I have dropped the memories of my father, hunched over translucent paper, sketching lines with graphite, boxing in the place where somebody will lay their head at night, the cupboards where monsters will hide, the doors that will open and close for unknown souls. Sometimes he'd let me draw the doors, the straightness protruding from the penciled-in wall, then the curve tucking the blank white space in tight. I said, "Mum, you're right. But I never considered that art. It doesn't sound like music, doesn't look like paint, can't be read from a page or keep me up half the night. But of course you're right. Art's not just art for art's sake." Then I started thinking, what is sake, anyway? And why does art get it? And God, and arguments, and appearances, and Japanese people, but not me? And why did I think my father wasn't an artist, when at the very least he helped make me? Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't this woman the essence of beauty, the muse, the classical romantic figure? Isn't she so symmetrical? We're all beautiful, in our own little ways, but I've always felt that if I were a piece of art, I'd be finger painting. Jackson Pollock-style blotches, random dots of multicoloured nonsense flicked and touched onto canvas. I would be the red and blue caterpillar I drew when I was 4, that my darling mother, in her infinite wisdom, hung in our bathroom when I was 12, for all the world, and more importantly, my friends, to see. I'd rip the painting down one day, and the very next day it would be right back up in the same place. I raged and I hated and said, "I don't get why you insist on humiliating me." But now I do. And if I ever have kids, I'll do the same to those little shits. Revenge is artistic. I asked my mother, "What art does Dad make?" I reckon if I were music, I'd be John Cage's 4-minute 33 seconds of silence, the musical equivalent of the constantly dawning realization that I am an idiot. I asked my mother, "What art does Dad make?" I think if I were a story, I'd be a myth, and not one of those cool ones telling the tale of the cosmos using interesting metaphors about dragons eating their tails. I'd be the myth about working hard being a reward in itself. The one about my personal file from school affecting me for the rest of my life. I'd be the tooth fairy. My own mum and dad lying to me, then paying me for my pain. I'd be bullshit. I'd be giant asexual pandas, apparently wanting to live. I'd be Santa. I asked my mother, "What art does Dad make?" Then I started thinking about her and my father together. What else did they make, besides paintings and stories and piano pieces and houses and me? They made a home and 2.5 other children. They made sure my childhood was clean and safe and welcoming. Made sure it was filled with duvets and crisps and toilet paper. Made sure I got to watch telly in my underwear when I claimed to be sick. Made me smile, made me laugh, made my siblings, who occasionally made me smile and laugh, and then one day suddenly became more people to call when I'm sick. My mum and my dad made the sky, the ceiling, the sheet on my face, made my skin, made the skin I can still remember the smell of, made my broken arm better with cuddles on the sofa. Hell, they even made the tickle monster real. They made reality. They made me, made us, made our family. I asked my mum, "What art does Dad make?" She looked at me funny, so I stopped asking stupid questions and, without being asked, made my parents a cup of tea.